Hello and welcome to part 13 of Let's Play Sonic 3 and Knuckles. We are back at the title screen because we are starting in on a whole new game, sort of. First, there's my clear file. As you can see, you can go back to select any level you want, starting from Angel Island all the way up to Doomsday Zone. But anyway, we're starting a new game with Knuckles, and I pressed the wrong button and went right back to the title screen. So let's try this all over again. Select Knuckles, press start, let's go. Interestingly enough, there is no opening cutscene to this. It just punts you right in the game and you go. Now there's not much to say. Some of the levels are exactly the same as Sonic's with, like, a couple minor differences. The biggest thing here is Knuckles plays a little bit different than Sonic. And I'll get into that in just a minute. Here's the first special stage ring, and yeah, I just edited right through it. We don't have to see that anymore. So there we go, first Chaos Emerald. Now as I was saying, Knuckles plays differently than Sonic. Sort of. He's just about as fast as Sonic to start. That doesn't change. The thing that is different though is Knuckles' jump is gimped. He can't jump as high as Sonic. And this changes his path in some points. To compensate for that, however, Knuckles can glide when you double jump. He doesn't have an insta-shield, he glides instead. And when you glide into a wall, you will stick onto it and then you can start climbing it. That's really about it. I mean, otherwise he's pretty much exactly the same as Sonic. Now, this first part of Angel Island is exactly the same for Knuckles. It's not going to change until close to the mid-boss. We will get a second Chaos Emerald, though. And speaking of Chaos Emeralds, they're harder to come by in Knuckles a Knuckles run. And that's just because there's no special rings to find sometimes. Like in Sonic's run, he had, what was it, 4 in Angel Island Zone and then 3 in Hydro City. So he could have all the Chaos Emeralds by Hydro City. Knuckles can't have them all until Marble Garden, and knowing me, I'm probably not going to get them all until, I don't know, Carnival Night, maybe Ice Cap. Now, Sonic had to jump up there. Knuckles cannot. He cannot make it. So he just breaks through these rocks that we saw the first time we came here, and we're on to the mid-boss in a new section. Now, something else different for the Knuckles playthrough, some of his bosses are different. This one, I don't really think is any different. You just hit him 6 times and he's down. It's that easy. Now, Knuckles has his own signpost as well. And there we go, Act 1. That wasn't hard. Not hard at all. So Act 2, where it gets completely different. We're into a completely different part of Angel Island Zone here. It's much more dangerous, lots of spikes around, you gotta be careful. Thank God for that climbing ability. Now, since I've been wanting to get through this, I start to rush a little bit and I'm going to get hit a few times. I'm going to try not to die. I know I don't die in this part. Even though this part does span 2 levels, they are the first 2 levels and they are easy. I don't need to show off the bonus stages, they're exactly the same. Now, if I didn't make that jump there, I would have had to climb. Yeah, look at me go, I'm on a roll here. Yeah, it's Knuckles in Angel Island, there's not a whole lot to say. I mean, I played through it mostly. Oh, that was bad timing on my part. It's going to be even worse for Hydrocity Zone, because that one really is exactly the same level for Knuckles, except for the very end of it. Oh, but here's something fun. Let's break a bunch of rocks with my face. You see, Knuckles doesn't have to spin dash to break things. He can just run into them. Most of the time. Now, the boss. He's basically exactly the same as when you fought him with Sonic, except for he doesn't shoot 2 fireballs, he shoots 4. You also notice that it's an egg robo in there now. That's because this takes place after the Sonic portion of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Eggman is gone, and all that's left is an Egg Robo, who's hounding Knuckles on his island. And there are all kinds of little signs to show that this takes place after, too. I'll try to point them out as we go along. Okay, Hydro City Zone. I'm going to try to make this as different as I can, because, you know, going through the same level all the time is kind of boring. So, let's climb up here and take a different path. Climbing, 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 climbing. There we go. Now, normally you can only get up there if you have Hypersonic, Knuckles, or Tails. Also, I think there is a special ring I'm going to miss at this first stage. I'm not too sure. We'll see in a second here. Yeah, I went up there, I saw that window there. I don't know what was in it. But getting the regular Chaos Emeralds isn't hard. I mean, I know I've got ample opportunities all throughout the first 6 stages. It's the Super Emeralds that are a problem, just because in Sonic's run, there were a lot of special rings you could find in Lava Reef Zone. In Knuckles, there's maybe 1 or 2. I think I mentioned that already. Oh, I'm really gonna need to find something to talk about here. Let's see, what was I talking about before? My experiences with Sonic. How I was, Okay, well, before I get into that, the mid-boss it is exactly the same as when you fought with Sonic, but because of Knuckles' gimped jump, he can't jump over it, so you gotta spin dash up the sides and get over it that way when it comes around. Also, without Tails, it takes a little bit longer to destroy. So we'll actually get to see it do this spinning attack. This won't hurt you, it just keeps you in the water and flings you around a little. Well, that's that. That's Act 1 done and over with. Like I said, it's not that hard at all. But hey, I got 10 rings out of it. And the next part of the level is exactly the same as Sonic's. Exactly the same, until the very end, so I'll start talking about it more then. But back to my history with Sonic, I think I said how I never had a Saturn, I never had a Dreamcast, so I got the PC games. Now I had this one, then I had Sonic R on PC, and then I had Sonic CD. And for the longest time, that was my experience with Sonic. Like, this was the game I played the most. I didn't stick with Sonic R all that much. Sonic CD I played a few times. And like, I played Sonic Adventure, like I played it at one of the game kiosks. Back when those were a huge deal, back when I was a kid. And I liked it. I liked it back then, and I still like Sonic Adventure now. I still think it's one of the better 3D games, and I do think it's better than Sonic Adventure 2. For the most part. That's because I think Sonic Adventure 1 is half a good game. Sonic Adventure 2 is 1/3 of a good game. Because the levels when you're playing as Sonic in Sonic Adventure 2, or Sonic or Shadow, are really fun. When you're Tails or Eggman, the first couple are okay, but then they start to drag on. Knuckles and Rouge? No, that was so fucking stupid. And I mean, in the first Sonic Adventure, the treasure hunting levels are fine. It's because they're not overly huge, and they don't take you, like... I was sitting on Mad Space, or whatever it was, in Sonic Adventure 2, the space level with Rouge, for close to an hour. And you might say, oh, I suck. And you might say, oh, well, you suck. I can find it in, like, 5 minutes. More power to you. Anything that's taken me half an hour, though, that's not worth my time. Sorry, anything that's taking half an hour on one level, that's probably not worth my time. So, well, it might not be needless to say, but I have beaten Sonic Adventure 2, but I've only beaten it once, and I'm probably not going to go back to it for a long time. I'd say the next time I do, I'll probably be, Let's Playing it for this channel. But okay, I'm done ranting about Sonic Adventure 2. If you want to hear all my complaints about it, another reviewer summed it up pretty nicely. His account is Some Call Me Johnny. It's a blatant shout out right there. But hey, he's one of my favorite YouTubers, so check his shit out. It's worth it. But back to my experiences with Sonic. I didn't get a new Sonic game for a long time after Sonic CD. The next time I did was when we had gotten a PS2. That was our next console. Yeah, we went from the Genesis to the PS2. We skipped a couple generations there. Or, I guess not. We skipped one generation, but a lot of consoles. Anyway, the game I got there was Sonic Heroes for the PS2. Now, Sonic Heroes on the PS2 kinda sucks. But that's just because the PS2 port sucks. Sonic Heroes on the GameCube, which I own now, is a really good game. It is easily one of my top Sonic games out there, and I don't know why it gets so much... Okay, I do know why it gets some of the flack it does. I understand the controls are kinda jumpy, I understand the whole playing through the game, or playing through the same levels, I don't know, 4 different times. You have to do that in the first Sonic Adventure, though. You have to play through the levels with different characters a certain amount of times. I mean, that's the thing. Most of the problems with some of that people have with some of the Sonic games are problems that the old ones had, too. Take Sonic Unleashed, for example. People hated the Werehog, but they loved the Sonic stages. Well, Sonic Adventure 2 had the same problem. They loved the Sonic stages, but hated the Tails and Knuckles stages. Oh, by the way, I kind of screwed up that special stage there. Whoops. Oh, and don't climb up here, it's just going to take you back to an earlier part of the level. So, yeah, I had Sonic Heroes. I really liked Sonic Heroes. Like, I had a lot of fun with it, and I still have a lot of fun with it. Oh, here's where Knuckles' path diverges. Back in Sonic's run, you got trapped there. With Knuckles, you can just break through the wall. And then it gets a little bit different, and you get to a portion where you have to use your glide. And well, you don't have to, but you're gonna get hit if you don't. And that's right up here. You climb on the left wall, and then you just glide over this huge bed of spikes. I managed to get 2 rings out of, what was that, 20? And you go down here and you'll eventually get to the boss room. But anyway, Sonic Heroes, fun game. Next in line, we had a Game Boy Advance, and I got Sonic Advance 3. And my god, Sonic Advance 3, the whole Advance series as a whole, it's a great Sonic series. But Sonic Advance 3 was the crown jewel of it. It's a great game. I've never fully beaten it, though. I have all the emeralds, but I can't seem to get the final boss to activate. So I don't know if I'm just doing something wrong or what the hell I'm doing there. And it's a game I want to Let's Play. I just want to beat it first. So, anyway, let's get back to the action at hand for a moment. We have this boss again, and the only thing that's different is when he's whirling up that, water tornado or whatever, he doesn't jump down to, so you can land a hit in. You have to ride either the, bombs, or you have to jump on the water tornado. I don't know what the hell to call it. And I kind of screwed that up. I think he only needs 1 or 2 more hits. But yeah, Sonic Advance 3, another great Sonic game. And, I think I'll leave it there on the Sonic history for now till the next part. Because we are almost done here, and I only recorded 2 levels, because it'll be a long enough video with just the 2 of them anyway. So there we go, starting through with Knuckles and Sonic 3. And we're going to be heading on to Marble Garden Zone next, so I'll see you then.